Welcome to the Super Profit Friends. 15 minutes long, because you're an entrepreneur and you've got a business to run.
We should change.
Record 20 minutes.
All right, we have 20 minutes.
Is that right now?
20. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, yeah.
Can you sit down so we can start?
Yeah. Alright, I just put a 20-minute timer on my phone.
Oh, that's a good idea. All right, y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na. I mean, we have time right there. Okay. And we're live.
Welcome back.
All right, guys, welcome back to episode 6 of the Super Profit Friends podcast, where today we will be talking about who to take advice from, mentors, deciding who your mentor is and things like that. I do want to apologize in advance, just in case. There is some construction going on, so we might be interrupted by some sounds, but hopefully that will be fine. Also, we are missing Zach Keith today. He has some business things that he had to take care of, so he wasn't able to make it. But
As
we'll
I
continue.
recall, he's in Connecticut
Yes.
having a business meeting with his business partners.
Yes, this is true.
The
Business
death-
things to deal with.
Super professional.
Sounds way more
I
professional
know.
as you say it.
He's in Connecticut with his business partners.
The message I got
We had
was
the-
CT, and he had to decipher it for me. But
Where's CT?
Nice,
Is he at a CAT scan? I don't know.
Is he in the hospital? My God.
All right, so that said, let's get started with who the best people to take advice from is. We'll throw the question over at, you know what? We're going to throw the question at Chris Lang today.
Yes,
We're talking
yay!
about Chris Lang.
oh, that tour though!
It does
Pick
look
me!
good. You're going to take over the whole 15
Literally,
minutes.
he
Don't
is
worry.
a mentor.
We know you're
He has a
gonna- I'm
business
gonna
mentor.
crack this
wide open.
So
Go
Chris,
ahead.
as you were starting your business, who did you find best to take advice from?
Oh, wait, this is just a setup so he talks about you.
Oh, please. I don't want to
It
brag.
all comes
but
together. It all comes together.
If it comes up, it comes up.
There was a few mentors. I mean, other plumbing business owners were huge. So they gave me like the raw truth about payments, because payments are always delayed. But ultimately, people like you and another friend of mine who also has his own business really got me thinking and really kind of pushed me to take the step to do it, to go out on my own. And I don't know, I'm very thankful for it. So it's all about listening to your mentors, but you have to weigh everything out. Like, understand where you are personally and financially. You know what I mean? Because if you're like dead broke, don't open a business. You're gonna be screwed. You're not getting a check every single week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But how'd you know the mentors were a good mentor?
Yeah.
How'd you know they were legit mentors?
How'd you decide them instead of like somebody else?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's the direction we're going in.
Because for me, like there are people who've given me business advice, but I'm like, yeah, but you don't. Like, I respect these people a lot, but their business isn't profitable. So why should I take advice from them on how to run a business or something to that effect? Like, why would I talk to a diamond salesperson if I'm starting a Ninja Warrior parkour and martial arts school? Like, they're not going to give me any good advice. They have no idea about anything about what I do.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, you mentioned that you spoke to another, was it another plumber that gave you advice?
Yeah, I was not a plumber.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and he was telling you that it was like the payments thing.
Yeah,
Right.
but he said just go for it because, it's just so much work out there, and there's a lot more growth. You can do what you want. You have the freedom to come and go as you please, which is huge.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think the important thing that we want to push is really to make sure that people are going to somebody who has the knowledge already. Like, you were planning on opening a plumbing company, so you went to somebody who has plumbing experience, so that way they could be like, these are the things that you need to look out for. Like that making sure that you get paid, how you're going to do the invoicing and everything like that, because people are always trying.
Nobody wants to
skimp out
power
on
their
pay.
money.
No one
Nobody
wants to give
power
you their
their
money.
No, but it is true. It always obviously makes you feel more secure when you go to someone in the industry to get advice from them. I mean, obviously, cause especially someone who's been in the industry for years.
Yeah.
You know, and are still going and succeeding.
One of the major things I tell all my students, anybody who's coming into us, I just say, hey, look, because they come to real estate, right? They all have a whole bunch of different ideas, shiny objects, what I call them. Everybody will say, hey, go door knock. Oh, go tell all your friends you're in real estate. Hey, go jump on social media. Do it this way. Do it that way. Make sure you go and get those Zillow leads and do this and that. And it's like, hold on. Ask that person how much they made as a real estate agent that year, and then qualify their advice, right? A lot of these people aren't even licensed agents. Why would you listen to them, right? Well, how can you
Makes
give me
sense.
real estate advice if you don't even have your real estate license?
Yeah.
And then ask them what they make. If they made $17,000, is that the person you're taking advice from, right? You want to go find the person who sold 50 houses, sold 100 houses, right?
Yeah.
Then ask them advice. The biggest key when people start to give you advice, because everybody's giving it for free. You know, I've been in this business for a long time, and people are like, "Oh, you should do this," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, thank you for sharing." Right? As a business entrepreneur, the most important thing for you to learn is just take the information, but don't use it if it's not good information. Qualify where it came from.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, say, "Hey, well, thank you for sharing," and then ask qualifying questions. That's what we call them in sales. Where did you hear that advice, and what is your experience in the industry? And people have given me investing advice. Oh, well, how many units are you up to? Oh, I don't have any. My cousin has units. Oh, excellent. Can I get your cousin's number? Because maybe their advice is more in line, and maybe they understand what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
But you got to be very careful. Yeah.
I think I think that's 100% right. I think that you can sometimes though get advice from somebody who may not have the experience themselves, but in terms of taking it with like blindly, it's just
Yeah.
a bad idea. Like take their advice and like think about it, take it in, consider like what it means for your business. Like we've had the discussion in the past, Walter and I,
Yeah.
where as a real estate agent who like runs his own branch, he can just hire anyone. He
Weird
can
song
have
like
he can
that,
have
yeah.
1,000 agents, and it costs him $0 until they bring somebody in.
Right.
But for me, I have to pay instructors the moment they walk through the door, whether they're bringing me customers or not. So for you in the past, you've been like, oh, why don't you just figure out a way to make it commission based?
Make a
and
commission,
blah,
bro.
blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that would be awesome. But there are
Nope.
some industries that may not work that way. And I'm not saying that it couldn't work in
Right.
my business. It's just that I haven't figured out how to make it work yet.
Yeah.
But so things like that, again, take the information in.
Morph it.
Sort of
maybe?
well, see if you can find a way to make it work, because I think for the most part, advice that you're given, whether it's 100% useful or not, you can still make it useful. Even if you're like, all right, this is something that this is information that I received. This works for this business. I don't know if I can make it work for this business. You know what? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
use that. Like that's
Right.
still getting advice from someone, just not necessarily taking it, but it's still useful to you because it could open up other pathways for you to think of something else that could work for your business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin, so you're in a very unique industry with a lot of education behind it. Like photography is not
Oh,
just
yeah,
you
you
grab
find-
a camera and do your shit, right? But
Whoa!
Swear jar!
Whoa!
Swear
like,
jar!
it was inevitable to
Alright.
me anyway.
Are you talking about how there is just YouTube upon YouTube channels?
Yeah.
How to use your camera, how to be a good photographer.
Right. But you actually went to school for it, went to college outside of that. Mentors or
I went to school for fine arts, which really helped in things like color theory and composition. So it made all of those things kind of like a habit where I don't need to think about it. It just kind of happens just naturally because it's already kind of in me. But I don't think it's something that you need
Right.
to go to college for. Or what do you mean?
So now I guess so you've had mentors who got like you didn't just pick up a camera and like you knew it was the right one. So some of the mentors you've had are probably your peers too. You know, people who maybe even have less experience in life, but they knew a certain thing, right? You mentioned YouTube videos where you're learning how to do things. A mentor could be somebody, digitally too, right?
I mean, yeah, you can pick up just small information from lots of different people and just kind of make an overall thought out of it and process out of it, if that's what you mean.
I think what he's getting at is kind of the similar thing to what we're doing here, where we're all relatively new business owners within 10 years at least. Like it's not we don't have 20 years of experience behind us, but we're all working together. We're all gaining our own information about our businesses, and as we're learning that, we're sharing that information with each other. So I think he's kind of bringing up the point that that may have happened with you in school also. It's like, I know with me, even with capoeira, training capoeira, my friend Mike Pinto is like, we are essentially the same rank, the same level, but we share things with each other. I learn as much from him as I learn from my instructors at times. Even though they teach me a different set of skills, I still learn something else from my peers.
I think that we will be talking about this more in the Facebook groups in that episode, because it is very important to reach out to other people who do the same things as you.
Yep.
And with Facebook, it's awesome because these people aren't necessarily your competition because they live in another part of the world, or state.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
No, it's one of those things. Like, I asked a question. I want to bounce it to you too, Josh. Who were some of the mentors in your business? I know you just mentioned Mike. I'm sure Chigrity too. Like, those are people who helped you and pushed you to get your business going as far as the gym. But then even once you established it, there's marketing people, there's vendors that you've gone through, and then obviously you've got this group here. We're more of a mastermind, so it's masterminding is a little different from mentorship. But like, what gyms or businesses do you look up to, or have you looked up to in the past that got you to where you are?
It's funny. So it wasn't until recently actually that I started sort of looking up to other businesses. So it wasn't until long after I opened my business.
Yeah.
There was New Wave Martial Arts and Fitness with Chigri. He's the one who, after training there and seeing the kind of community that they created around capoeira at that school, that's what made me initially want to start AMP Academy in the first place.
That was possibly one of your first true mentors in the gym.
Oh, absolutely. He was the first business mentor that I ever had. And then obviously I had you, because you entered into it first. You allowed me to use the business plan that you had for Roots 44.
That's right.
In order to prepare that for AMP Academy. It ended up not being useful, but what are you going to do?
Business plan.
We'll
talk about that.
Plans. We'll talk about those actually in episode 8. But
the most recent thing is it comes from Facebook groups you started.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So at this point, and again, the next episode we're actually going to be talking about Facebook groups and forums. So this is kind of blend into that, but it wasn't until recently where I started talking to different kinds of businesses, like a trampoline park, and I talked to them about how much money they make versus like how much money I make versus how much a gymnastics school makes, because I spoke to a gymnastics business owner also. And based on just the financial conversations that I had with them, it started making me be like, all right, well, how can I cause my income, my revenue stream to increase to the amount that they have? Because it's insane how much a trampoline park makes in comparison to AMP Academy. But it's partially because, I think, it's because it's, how do you say a dummy sport nicely? It's
it's
something that anyone can go in.
Anyone can do.
It takes no skill.
Yeah.
You can walk in. You can be a 2-year-old and walk in and just jump on a trampoline. You can be 85 years old and go jump on a trampoline.
So, well, then my question, and this is just coming up right now, is who is the business owner that's in your industry that's bigger than you, and if you don't identify them yet, that's probably a goal then. Like, if you haven't found somebody in your industry who's bigger than you, then that's an opportunity. Because then you can go to them and say, well, how did you do it? Like, what could I do in my gym to get to that bigger level? Or a photographer, I do it all the time in real estate. Like, there's people doing far more transactions. I go to them and I'm like, hey, how did you do it? Like, how? And like, you would think, like, they're like, oh, I'm not giving my secrets, but they're not. They're literally, this is what they think. I am so big you can never catch me. I feel like I'll just throw you a bone. Like, that's how mentors are.
It is true, though. In my industry, mostly, if you look at the bigger companies,
Yeah.
they either do multi-residential, like huge,
Yep.
or commercial.
Right.
And that's why I've been focusing mostly on commercial, because there's a very big profit margin in commercial
Yeah.
plumbing
And
versus residential.
when you're there and you meet them, ask them, like, how could I improve my business? And if they do say, well, you're a local competitor, okay, that's fine. That's a key. Go to another state. Like, call somebody up in another state and, like, fly out there and be like, hey, like, you guys are doing a killer job. Like, how do I improve my business? How do I get to where you're at?
That's a good idea.
In my community. Like,
Yeah.
my mentors are not very local. They're in California. They're in Florida. Like, they're all over the place.
I've had oh, go ahead.
I think we were gonna say the same thing. Josh has had people from other states call him.
Yeah.
Be like, hey,
That's
we're
exactly
gonna open up a parkour ninja warrior gym. You know,
Right.
what are some of the things that you wish you knew before you did it?
I
They're
said-
clever. That's smart.
Those
Yeah,
are
call them
genius
up.
things to do. That's
Do
what.
it.
That's what.
think
you
you
should
I mean,
do.
Josh
you're the
will talk to
mentor.
him for
Yes.
hours.
Yeah.
He'll
Oh, I
tell you
did.
all
I
he
talked to him
wants.
for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
This random person. I honestly, at this point, I don't even remember their name, and I
Yeah.
apologize for that. But yeah, I talked to them for 2.5 hours. They were just picking my brain about how much space they needed, like whether they should pay someone to design a facility or whatever. Which I ended up grabbing that business too.
I said you
'cause
probably
I can do
designed it
that.
for them.
Yeah. Not bad.
The
But-
bell has rung. I just
Yeah, we
wanna
are at time. But did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna
Say?
say, we should do that when we go to Miami. We should see if we can find local businesses.
Well, yeah.
We should reach out to them.
That would be
Absolutely.
great, actually.
Speaking
That's a really
of
good idea.
mentors, we are going to.
Well, that's more of a special event,
Okay,
but
that's-
you are right. And actually, we will technically have already attended the event by the time this video is
Yeah.
posted. But on January 31st, we're flying out to attend the 10X Con.
10x growth count.
10X Growth Con.
Greg Cardone.
Cardone. Which is going to be super good, but we'll get into that stuff, like going to these different seminars and events to help you grow your business, where you're getting advice and you're meeting like-minded people who are there to help you in the same way that we are. But anyway, so we are past our time, so we're going to close out. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us for episode 6. We, again, are talking about who to take advice from, mentors. We are going to bump into the next episode right away, which is going to be talking about face groups and
Face groups.
Facebook groups and forums.
All them
Calm
face
down on
groups.
that.
I'm on all of them.
Oh,
All the
that's
face
one.
groups.
Sign me up for the face groups.
But thank you guys very much. Oh, you getting up already?
Yes, bye everyone!
Thank you guys very much, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Make sure you take advice from the right people.
I always work with the best.
Always work
Oh,
with
yeah.
the best.
Peace.